Hello, I'm Pastor Greg Anderson from Trinity Lutheran Church in Grand Prairie, Alberta. And this is the first of a series I'm going to be doing, one each week, entitled Sharing Our Lenten Journey. Midweek each week, I will be putting out one of these videos on our YouTube channel. And we'll pick up one of the readings from the previous Sunday that I did not preach on and do something a bit more topical. For this week, I'm choosing the reading from Romans chapter 10. It starts in the second half of the 8th verse. The word is near you, on your lips and in your heart. That is the word of faith that we proclaim. Because if you confess with your lips that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. For one believes with the heart and so is justified, and one confesses with the mouth and so is saved. The scripture says, no one who believes in him will be put to shame. For there is no distinction between Jew and Greek. The same Lord is Lord of all and is generous to all who call on him. For everyone who calls on the name of the Lord shall be saved. Here in Alberta, we are in step 2 of the return to whatever normal is, or what normal is going to be. Step 2 is basically that, the brakes are off. Other than healthcare institutions, masking is, you mask if you want to. Capacity limits are lifted. It's really an attempt to go back to, and I hate to keep doing this, but normal. Whatever normal is going to be. I'm not sure we know what that's going to be yet. People are still choosing to mask, even though it's not mandated. I intend to mask whenever I go into a store or in a public place, because people. We've been through a lot, and people have shown us who they are. Some people, yes. Anyway, off topic. So, what is normal going to look like? And this question is kind of hung in the air, and I've mentioned it in sermons and things in the past. But as the pandemic started and as the lockdown started, a question I began to entertain is, and I think other people have as well, what do we hope to take forward after all this is over? What did we learn? What did we learn about ourselves? What did we learn about our communities? What did we learn about the way the world works, about the way the church works, about the way faith works? And what are those good things that we want to take forward? Here we are. The restrictions are off, and I certainly hope that there's no ramifications. I'll be honest, I think it's a little early, but I hope there's no ramifications. I hope this, return to more normal activity goes very well. I really do. So the question then becomes, so what do we want to take forward? People have been surprising, I think. There has been a surprising level of compassion, care, concern. People have shown a surprising level. Strangers who have done amazing things for people they didn't know. There's the other side, of course. There's been the surprise of a certain level of callousness, of I'll do what I want and I don't care what impact it has on other people. There is no greater demonstration of that human intention to not care than the war in Ukraine. One nation is just seeking to dominate, and it seems just to obliterate another nation. I mean, we're in the 21st century, and we still can't figure this stuff out. It's astonishing. I would think as time goes on, we would get better at being human. we seem in some ways to have gotten worse. And I would certainly say that about people who claim the name of God as the cause of what they do. Awful, terrible things. I come back to this Romans passage. No one who believes in him will be put to shame, for there is no distinction between Jew and Greek. The same Lord is Lord of all and is generous to all who call on him. For everyone who calls on the name of the Lord shall be saved. It's nothing new for Christians to spend a lot of time trying to decide who's in and who's out. It's an odd preoccupation that certainly I don't think celebrates who Jesus was and what Jesus did, how Jesus treated people. And we have St. Paul, of all people here, using these everyone kind of language. All this was in my mind when I read an article today by John Pavlovitz. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. He is let's see. According to his Wikipedia page, John Pavlovitz is an American Unitarian pastor and author, known for his progressive social and political writings from a postmodern Unitarian Universalist perspective. He's from New York. He was a Methodist pastor and youth worker in what's termed a megachurch in the American South for quite some time, and is on to different things. Anyway, I follow him on Twitter. I find his writing interesting, and he had something this week that hit on this theme that I've been considering. The title of the post is "The Church of Not Being Horrible." It begins this way. I'm tired. I'm tired of professed Christians preaching a Jesus that they seem to have no interest at all in emulating, of religious people being a loud, loveless noise in the world while claiming to speak for a God who is supposedly love. I know the world is tired of such people. I'm fairly certain that God is too. I'm starting a new church, the Church of Not Being Horrible. Our mission statement is simply this: don't be horrible to people. And then he goes on with a description of this church. Don't treat them as less worthy of love, respect, dignity, joy, and opportunity than you are. Don't create caricatures out of them based on their skin color, their religion, their sexual orientation, the amount of money they have, the circumstances they find themselves in. Don't seek to take away things from them that you already enjoy in abundance. Civil rights, clean water, education, marriage, access to health care. Don't tell someone's story for them about why they are poor, depressed, addicted, victimized, alone. Let them tell their story and believe they know it better than you do. Don't imagine that your experience of the world is everyone's experience of the world, that the ease, comfort, support, affection you have received are universal. Don't be preoccupied with how someone experiences God, how they define family, who they love. Cultivate your faith, family, and marriage alone. The central question at any given moment in the church is, am I being horrible right now? If one concludes that they are, they endeavor to not do so. If they're unsure, they allow other people to help them see their horrible blind spots of privilege, prejudice, and ignorance. And then they respond. In other words, our sacred calling is to be decent, to be kind, to be compassionate, to be whatever it is that we believe this place is lacking, to be the kind of people the world needs, and it definitely needs less horrible these days. The article goes on a bit, and I encourage you to check it out. And his other writings. I think he, as I said, is very good. The Church of Not Being Horrible. It's really the answer to what would Jesus do? Jesus would not be horrible. And I like what he says there about let's not assume we know other people's stories. Let's find out what people's stories are. Let them tell their stories, and let's listen, and let's believe them. It's what we would want for ourselves, is it not? Anyway, part 1 of sharing our Lenten journey. I hope this is a blessing to you, and I hope you're having a good day. I hope people are not being horrible to you today. Please, don't be horrible to anyone. God bless you. And I'll see you next week.